While there's sadly many insects that can infect and be of pests to tomatoes, I'm going to try to touch on 4 of the major highlights here: hornworms, whiteflies, aphids, and cutworms. So starting with hornworms, what to look for? Well, you want to see small to large green caterpillars eating tomato leaves. Now, some people have an eye for them and they can spot them. Other people will struggle to see them. As you can see, despite their large size, they can blend in quite well. If you want to cheat and find them, you can inspect your plants at night with a black light, as hornworms will glow. However, if you find a hornworm that has these white little pill-like structures attached to it, you want to leave those be, because that's been infected by a natural parasite, and that parasite will then produce offspring that will be able to go through and hunt down and destroy other hornworms. And I was fortunate to see one actually in the act. Here's a wasp infecting this hornworm here that will then soon turn it into this, that will then cause it to go through and produce more parasites to infect other hornworms. However, if you see one that looks like this, you want to remove it and crush it and kill it, feed it to chickens to basically prevent it from eating your tomato plants. How can you prevent these? Well, insect netting is one way to add a physical barrier, or to simply control and remove them, the non-parasitized hornworms. Whiteflies are small flies that are white, so that's kind of where they get their name. How to prevent them: reflective mulches can help deter them. And how to control them: many times control is not needed, as I've seen heavily infested tomato plants with minimal reduction in yield. Biological control options are available, such as green lacewings, big-eyed bugs, and minute privet bugs can be ways to help combat these on an insect-to-insect combat level. Aphids are very small, and they can be black, tan, white, or almost clear specks. You almost see like a tannish yellowish color. They're typically bigger concern from August on, that later portion of the season. And if you're inspecting an area and you see a lot of bumblebees in the area, and it's devoid of any flowers, it's likely to have an aphids feeding on the leaf structure, releasing this sugary sap that the bees will feed on. How to prevent these? Well, reflective weed block or insect netting would be an option. They can be very difficult to control. Despite their small size, they can be high numbers. Garlic-based sprays can help repel them, and biological control such as green lacewings can also help reduce their numbers. Lastly, you can look at cutworms. They're caterpillars feeding on seedlings that recently planted in the field. They literally cut the plants down, clean fields well at the end of the season to the previous growing year, collar plants with either a physical barrier such as a paperclip or dichotomous earth, or diatomaceous earth. These are 2 ways you can add a physical barrier if you're known to have cutworms in a particular planting site. You also want to till the soil at least 2 weeks before planting, because this will help expose these cutworms to the surface and hopefully reduce their numbers.